Okay, pilots, I've come up with another project here, but I ordered an LX model F-18 Super Hornet. Now the jet's been discontinued, but you can still get parts for it. And I was just thumbing through there and found it. I said, hey, there's an idea. But I've had it a while because I was trying to get that F-18. I was trying to get it, and if mine didn't work, if I got it, I'd have an extra one. And you also got to get the LX model synchronizer for the opening canopy. It has a lot of, let me get it around here. You can see it's got a lot of them in there, but it also has just two sticking out there. If you can barely see, just two of them right there. The other one's got two sets of three. Well, that's for the, maybe this is for like a gear door also. So I'm just gonna plug it into the one that has two, because this LX models, usually their landing gear and little odd and ends like this just has a little 2 lead, just like an LED has. It runs that motor. So this right here is what's really controlling it. All right. Now, you get that from Banana Hobbies is where I got that from. Now you can look in there and you look at discontinued planes, okay? And it might be in there. I don't know. I hadn't looked in at Banana in a while. But this is an FMS A-10 Warthog Canopy, okay? All right. If you can see it without the glare, in the back here, back behind the seat. Looks like plenty of room in there. All right, now what I've got to do is I've got to position, this is in the down position right now. So in order to do this, I've got to just put this in kind of to the position. All right, I'm gonna look at the bottom. All right, that's pretty much right in here somewhere. See? So I'm probably gonna be cutting out a lot of this area right here. And then I'm gonna be looking at where the battery is sitting on this canopy and making sure, because I'm thinking that this motor is gonna be sticking out there a little ways, just a little ways, maybe a lot, I don't know yet. I mean, you know, I'm looking at this for the first time. So listen, I'm gonna walk in here. I'll take the camera with me, see if we can see in here. We're gonna look and see where the battery goes. Now that I know where that motor is gonna be sticking out a little bit. Turn the light on. All right, there we go. Yeah, that battery. That battery is gonna be right there. Wonder how much room I got. Well, I don't know. That's gonna be right down. It's kind of hard to see with your battery. Let me look. I thought I made a mark on this one where the battery's gonna go. Let's see, that might be it right there. Yeah. So that's gonna be there. And I'm running at 5,000. Let me look at 5,000 right quick. We might not have enough room. be sitting right on that thing. It's gonna be sitting right on it. The cockpit's gonna be kind of right in here. Man, that sucker's gonna be sitting right on it. That's pretty thick right there. Let me look again. Put this camera back up here. I'm just swagging it here now, just swagging it. Scientific wild ass guess to where that's gonna be. I don't know, the motor, let me get it here, let's see, let me see something, yeah. If I can get my finger right out of the way, okay. You see here? Oh goodness, I knew I'd slip. All right, let me get it here. I mean, it's just barely gonna be sticking out a quarter of an inch. So I'm gonna go in here to where I can look at that cockpit again, put that 5,000 in it. Yeah, it's gonna be about a quarter of an inch sticking out. And really, actually, I ain't gonna be cutting, but just a little bit right here out. And the motor's gonna be here, right dead center. What are you doing out there? I hear that cat growl. Alright, let's see, yeah. Okay, give me a second here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have a half an inch of clearance in between the battery and the cockpit. So I believe we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Now, the way I was holding that there, see, there's gonna be a big flat spot made right back behind the seat there, because this has got to be sitting flat and be mounted. Okay, this has got to be free moving. I believe this kind of moves a little bit too. I got to see what that does. See, but I don't think that would move too much. It's if anything, it's going to be going upward, if anything, and that would be moving away from the battery. See, because if it is this going up, the motor, I don't see where that shaft's gonna be, or screw is coming out the bottom here neither, so it's not gonna do that. And then if you look, if you can see right here, I can't get that light to turn up there. It's got like a channel there. See, this is the axle. See the axle going across here? Well, that channel goes all the way up about more than a quarter of an inch, not quite a half inch, I'd say. And then the canopy starts opening up. It's sliding the canopy back and lifting the rear so that it will clear the, you know, the canopy back in here. It'll rise, go back, and then start opening up, and then close, and then move forward. And that's how it does it, is that with that little channel right there. There you can see it a little bit right there. See? So that moves that canopy forward and backwards. And then that's going to be another trick. Okay, we're going to look at this a little bit. Now, I might not get a lot done tonight. This just might be the beginning steps, okay? But if you look, when I was wanting to explain to you when you might decide to do something like this to a jet, and it's not an A-10, okay? Well, the first thing I done when I looked around at my jets to see if I could do this to things was you know, where it was going to be to where the battery was, okay? How much room I had back here, okay? What kind of area back in here? Was it a solid piece of foam that came up through here and then the canopy kind of glued to the top of it? If it's like that, I'm sorry, I just don't think it's gonna work with that, because once it goes back, it still might hit that piece of foam. All right, and another thing I looked at that I thought was important is right up here. Okay, if you can see that lip, you see the lip in the mold of the plastic, it right there, and then you got your gray painted. Well, that's a rise there in that mold. That's a rise. And if I cut that canopy right along the edge of that rise, okay, move the mechanism, okay, move it to where it will close in, go down far enough, and go up under that and move forward a little bit up underneath that little lip, okay? And then down here, what I'm gonna have to do is it's gonna be on the outside. It's gonna have to be on the outside, but I'm gonna have to cut this canopy glass. I was wanting to try to do it and take this whole piece here, but if I do it that way, I'm gonna have to cut a piece out right here to where it'll be able to slide up underneath it, okay? So what I might have to do is maybe do an angled cut. I'm gonna get something that can point instead of just a general area. They have a cut starting right here maybe, and going in an angle up to that corner up there of the glass. That way when it slides to open, okay, making this whole thing just a little bit, you know, longer, as much as I can, longer. Getting the whole mechanism moved forward maybe, see, to where after I make that cut, it's still gonna have enough of a lip to go up under it. So this angled cut here, it's gonna be starting a 1/4 inch back here and making an angled cut. See, I'm gonna try to leave as much of this part here and as much of this slides forward, but it still might have a gap here. The gap will be as wide as where my glass will be going up underneath this. Okay, so I might have to take some touch-up paint or something, and you know, just touch up about maybe 3 millimeter gap there that I'm gonna have, so that glass will go up underneath that lip and hold. But again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some kind of a rail system, see, because this is going to be coming down and it's got to sit down on something and then roll forward. See, you just got it down here loose, this thing's going to be flopping all over the place. So I'm going to have to end up either gluing something that has an angle to it to the outside where it'll make like a little V channel for the inside, or what I've got left cut on the inside to where it'll catch and slide forward. Now that's going to be the trick right there. All this stuff's going to be a trick because, you know, I've got nothing to use, no canopy. The LX model canopy can do it. Kenny's got one, Hanger 51, he's got one. He got his working, but they don't have it. It's not available, so I stopped. Okay. They even had all the canopy and everything. But we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. So the first thing we're going to do, obviously, is get the canopy off. I'll try to pick a spot somewhere, and it's gonna be pretty strong maybe, in the front and the rear. So I get this corner going Let's see what it's gonna do here. Now I got my little 90-degree owl, and I got the bevel in kind of towards the paint, trying to keep it from just ripping paint off. When I come across a tough spot there, I kind of give it a little tug. And man, I can feel the glue in there. This ain't gonna be easy. The glue is all in it. I'm gonna have to come back in a little bit and start on the other side a little bit. This thing's glued on there. Now, it's been a dynamo, it done popped off by now. There we go, come on. I can't put too much pressure on this canopy. Oop, that's good, I'm pulling up and kind of just trying to slide it right along the edge there. It kind of slides out sometimes. But this thing got some glue on it, I can tell. I've seen where pilots has took a razor blade and went right along the edge there of the plastic and the foam to cut the paint, keep it from pulling, because it is pulling a little bit off here. Now I'm going to try to stay off of that dash. I don't want to scar my dash up neither. No time lapse. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Well, it's getting, man, I figured it'd be pretty tight right up here at the top, at the front. Let's see what she does here. Get that little one off of it. Gotta get them little strings off of it. And I advise you pilots to clean all the glue off of it. Goodness gracious. Kind of just pulling out and up. It's going to leave them little stringies on it. Get them things off. Because what I use to put it back on is 2-part epoxy. If I got it. Goodness gracious, pilots, it's getting hard to find things, man. You can't find nothing. I had to order a clutch pressure wheel for my snapper lawnmower off of Amazon, for crying out loud. Couldn't find it nowhere in Spartanburg. Nowhere. And even on the videos that I watched on it, the man said you're going to have to get an aftermarket because Snapper don't make them anymore. So I was in trouble. I ordered it from Amazon on Saturday, after I got home from searching Spartanburg for it, probably maybe 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was on the porch Monday. The driver came driving up when I was sitting here eating lunch. So I knew I was gonna have my lawnmower fixed. I got it done last night. All right, now then. We'll get all this glue off here, so, of course, but not. If you get a hold of it and start pulling away, don't start pulling this way, but pull away from it. Grab a hold of it, pull the glue this way. Sometimes that takes it off better. But we'll do that later. What I'm wanting to do right now, let's take a look at this second. This is this piece here that I've got to cut out is just a little off center. And what I'm going to try to do is not really damage a whole lot in case I want to glue it back in there. Yeah, that's going to have to go a little bit. I'm going to have to shave this right down through here and try to leave as much as I can on it. Yeah, that's gonna get him up there. That's got to go, still got to go further forward, but it's gonna be going down too, so I'm not really hoping I'm not gonna damage too much of the back of my seat, that's for sure. But let me make this cut here first. I know it's gonna have to be cut out. I've got a box here already. I've got another protruding box coming up. This was a indention, but this is off center here. If you can see that, it's just off center. So I've got to get this glue off first and get that centered up. I'm lining my blade up with the back half of this. We're just gonna see if I'm cutting as little as I can right now, just to see what I'm gonna have to do. Remember now, I got my hand up under this thing too now. Like an angle cut right here, just staying right at the head of the seat there. I'll try to get right up to that line I just cut here. Go across this way. You ain't seeing much. And I got that blade and I ain't gonna try not to break it too. I'm just kind of not, I'm sawing. I'm going back and forth here. I want to change the blade in this thing. I don't know what to do. That's exactly what I want to do. So we got another one going. So, oh, I want to get some blades. see if I'm lined up here. Yeah, just trying to get it in the center. And this thing's got to go forward about probably another inch. So let's see here, let's see, what do I need to do? Cut down and back. Because this has got to go down here some more. See, this is the way it's gonna sit here. So my hole needs to start about here. Gonna be cutting a block out. I'm not gonna really be, I can't really cut a whole lot. This is just for the motor to slide down into. This is not for the whole thing to go crazy into. Let me get my end where I stop cutting right there. And also, I'm gonna try to make this in kind of an angle cut here. Blade, let me do it. Find the end of my cut here, which is right at that dot. A little piece of paint there was showing me where to cut it. I want to keep my angle there. Alright, now I'm real thick right in the front. Okay. That's a thick spot. I'm trying to maintain that angle so the motor will slide down in there. A little bit more. Make that angle cut. Just swagging in here, just swagging. Plug this a little bit. Look, make sure don't go too much past that flat. Not past my indentation. It's definitely for me a new blade. Okay. I see what I'm gonna have to do now already. I'm gonna have to, because it's thin right here. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to cut all that out and build a base right here for this thing to sit on. Because once I get that down low enough to where this is down here, it's gonna be sitting down here for a little ways. And that's gonna make that motor, see the motor, how far up the motor is now, and that's what's gonna make that motor come down to about right here. About right, you know, a little less than a half inch, I hope. So I'm gonna have to finish cutting that out. And it's also gonna have to be wider. Because that base, the base is wider than the motor. And the base is gonna have to slide down in here. And maintain the curve here. To ask for a little utility knife, huh? Yeah, that's gonna be right down that edge, I bet you. Come out right at the right on the side of the edge of this. Forward, so I'm gonna stop right in here. I don't want to make this hole too big. It's thick right there. A little too far. And another thing about this FMS A-10, you can get parts for it. So if I really screw this up and it don't work by the thing, I'll always just go buy another can. That's the thing about, let's see, about working on these foam planes. Okay, that should be. Loose. Loose! Okay, it's loose. Let's do this. Make that other side a little bit wider. hitting there, but that's going to have to go lower. I'm hitting there. Okay. I've got a crossbar right here, and I'm hitting those two, so I'm going to have to flatten that out. That's got to go pretty much flush with that glass all the way down to the bottom here. Like, here I ain't gonna cut this thing in half by doing that. One minute, let me make sure here a second. I'm gonna look at something to see. Move forward. What I'm doing is I'm looking at this hump right here. Okay. I'm looking at this right here. I want that hump to be right in smooth with that, because that's kind of when the canopy comes down, that's going to be hugging this area here. So I might have to even cut an area out here for this to clear. Everything's got to clear. You got to make sure everything moves without any obstacles. So that's going to be, I really can't do it like that. So that's why I wanted to cut that hole, so that thing would be sitting exactly where I wanted it to be sitting. So now I'm literally cutting it right along the back of the seat, all the way up. Not cutting into the seat, but just right to the edge of it. Right to the edge of it. Then I gotta get in here and cut that block out. A little operation here. Just a little butchering. It's pretty thick right there. It's an inch thick right there. So ran the end, turned the back of my seat up. Look at that, it's so good. Dang. Landed in toward the back of my seat. It'll be a shame. Should have been cutting from the bottom anyway. Yep, you live and learn. I should have been cutting from the bottom. Okay, now let's see if that was a cut out enough. I hadn't done anything yet but the back of the seat. This little lead here is going to have to be either plugged in to this box every time, or either you're going to have all this up in here, and these two has got to go into separate channels. Okay. All right. And what has got to be done is to figure out which one actually operates the canopy opening mechanism. Because one will operate the landing gear, the other will operate the canopy, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll blow it up and ruin everything. Have to just go with it. Okay, now then. Yeah, that's lining up pretty good right there, we're seeing. Because I'm going to have it forward. It's going to have to be forward. So that it'll go up under that lip. Yep. It's going to have to go forward. I got to cut a little flat out now. Since it's going to have to go forward, I'm going to go use that as the back line. I'm just about made there. This has got to go all the way out to the end here. But just deep enough for that bar to clear. This is what happens when you're trying to use a dull knife to do something like this. You got to have a sharp knife when you're messing with this foam pop. I'm about to cut this thing in half. Now, using that angled end of a utility knife, I'm trying to keep it down and going along the line, okay? I get down far enough to where my blade's hitting on this side, I start bringing that blade this way, still just making little chopping cuts, see, until it finally, eventually, will get that blade pushed through there. Then once I get the blade pushed through, then I pull the blade back out, flip it over, and then come over here and then make that cut. Okay, that's what I'm attempting to do when I make these box cuts. With a box cutter. And not in an angle. Still going in an angle. And then was too. Might need it. Get on to there. Get a little flame. We still got to do the build the mount down here in the bottom for it to sit on. After we get this thing cut and sit where I'm wanting, we'll go in the video, and then that's when I'm gonna have to start thinking about what I'm gonna have to do here. Might even just use one of these pieces of phone, but I'd like to save these in case I might have to put all this stuff back together because it won't work. Alright, let's see here. Got to go under that. There we go. Now I'm getting there. What am I hitting? I'm hitting this over here. Yeah. Okay. But it's almost getting low enough. Almost getting low enough. I gotta cut some out of here. That's got to move back a little bit more. We're hitting this wall right here. Might have to move this cut back just a little bit more. It's time to clear the sidewall where it comes down through here. I'm just cutting the area for this right here to seed down in the wall. Now we've got an angle here, okay? So I'm gonna try to make that angle when I made that cut there. I'm gonna flip it around this way. Now I got to stay right along the edge of that canopy where it was at. And plus, I got to eat. Y'all ain't heard my stomach raising. Come on, man, would you get this crap done so we can go get something to eat? Looks like it's pretty even too. Not too shabby, not too bad. I might end up having, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I ain't no sense leaving that there. That might be an obstacle that hits something. The man said I'd have a lot of obstacles in my way. Cut that one off. little bit wider. If I end up cutting that whole area off of there, it could be possible. Could be possible that I'll have to cut the whole area off. That was a piss poor cut. What's up with that? You just don't want to come on, dude. Come on, man. I'm hungry. Now she's sitting in there. She's a little bit forward of where the canopy would sit. I see she's wanting to sit crooked for some reason. Why she wanting to sit crooked? We'll have to bring that forward some. Okay, there we go. All right, now I've got it sitting pretty much where I want it. The base is literally when we put right. Let's see here. Let me look and see again. Yep, that's sitting flush there. It's sitting flush there. There. So the base is just going to be a piece of foam. Put it in there like so. Glue it in. This motor's sticking out a little further than I thought it was. But we're going to have to see about that. We're going to see about that. As a matter of fact, let me get my 5,000 again. Okay, pilots, it's a go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The battery's probably right in here. So we're good. I believe we're good. Now, if I plug this thing in and I hit it and this motor starts moving around, I still believe there'll be enough room, because like I said, I mean, you know, not quite half an inch, maybe 3/8. Maybe 3/8 of an inch. I'm gonna have some clearance in case that motor is gonna need to move some a little bit. I'll make my mount start right here and come back to here, you know, and have it mounted. Now, let's set our canopy on it. Let's see, that's hitting, so I need to put my battery here. Remember, this is going to be cut up through here, so this piece is going to be glued on, of course. But I'm wanting it to actually sit forward than what it really does on this piece. Now, already I can see my mount in there moving. I can see it moving already. Because I'm wanting, like I said, this is going to be pushed forward here a little bit. If it quits sticking to something, it's sticking to some glue or something. And when I move that forward about 3 millimeters off of this line right here in the back, let me get it in view. I'm gonna have it at least 3 millimeters forward so it'll slide up under that glass pot. So this is where it's gonna sit. I'm gonna be doing touching up all around edges, you know, where it's gonna be, what it's gonna do. But that's what it's got to have. It's got to have it at 3 millimeters to go forward. And I look in this glass here and I see where I went to cut it to go back. Heck, I'm gonna have to cut it and go forward. That's right. I'll have to cut it and go forward. But it's sitting where I want it. I mean, you know, and it's literally right up against that wall. But again, we don't want no obstructions. That whole frame is going to be coming up. It's going to be coming up and lifting that thing up. First of all, it's going to go back and backing up, back and up, and then start rising to about maybe right in, maybe something like so. See? So what I've got to do now is got to cut the front of that wall more so it can move forward. Make sure that my inner wall here and here is still going to clear, which looks like it will, but I'm still going to shave a little bit more off. Now on the canopy mounting to this, okay, now that's going to be another deal, because this thing is not perfectly shaped the same as this is. That's another thing I was looking at. Where I'm sitting at right here, 3 millimeters forward, okay, I'm going to have to build a bridge in here. I'm going to have to build a bridge on this side. It looks like I'm going to have to build a bridge in the center there. Sides are good, but the center is sitting off of it. And this front edge here and on this side is sitting off of it. So I'm going to have to sit here, pilots, and just take, I can take foam and do it. Or I can sit here and fill them big old holes up there on the sides there with, you know, epoxy, put a piece of tape on it and let it just fill up and dry. But I got a chance of it warping this piece of plastic with that epoxy getting hot. So you got to think about that. You got to think about up in here what it's going to look like through this glass. I might end up having to paint this area here back gray. Okay. So that's the plan. I'm going to end this in here. It's been long enough. An hour already. I'm out.